online faith community. My name is Jason Hollinger. I'm the preaching and community minister here. And in our time in Jesus and Coffee this morning, as we make our way to the middle of the week, we are going to be in 2 Samuel. And in 2 Samuel chapter 3, where we're going to read today. By the time we get to chapter 3, we've kind of fast forwarded even more so as we began yesterday looking at the birth of Saul and the dedication by his mother Hannah, the dedication to him to say that, you know, God, you gave him to me, I'm going to give him back to you. I'm going to help him by helping him to know you, and placing him in the hands of a priest that will raise him to minister to God's people, to see how he became just to see how through all this he became a prophet of the Lord for the people. Well, by the time we get to 2 Samuel, and especially in chapter 3, we have learned of a king named Saul, and then we have learned about a young boy, a shepherd boy by the name of David. Now, we mentioned David last week in as we looked at the book of Ruth, remember, and how Ruth, through a story that began with sorrow and sadness but turned to loyalty and faithfulness and redemption. And Ruth, marries Boaz, and from this family genealogy, from this line, we see, Boaz, Obed, Jesse, and David. Well, Samuel is raised to know God, raised to be a prophet of the Lord. Saul comes along. Saul does evil in the eyes of the Lord, and God is raising up one in the line of redeemers, just as Boaz was a redeemer for Ruth. In the line of redeemers comes God's plan to restore humanity, to restore mankind, and it's not going to be through Saul, it's going to be through David. And so by the time we get to chapter 3 in 2 Samuel, David is anointed anointed king over Judah, and we learn about the battles, the wars of the household between Saul and David. So let's read a little from 2 Samuel chapter 3. We'll issue our challenge and send you on your way. 2 Samuel chapter 3. There was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David. And David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul became weaker and weaker. And sons were born to David at Hebron. His firstborn was Amnon of Ahinoam of Jezreel. His second, Chileab of Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And the third, Absalom, son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. And the fourth, Adonijah, the son of Haggith. And the fifth, Shephathai, the son of Abital. And the sixth, Ephraim of Eglah, David's wife. These were born to David in Hebron. While there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner was making himself strong in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, and Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Why have you gone into my father's concubine?" Then Abner was very angry over the words of Ishbosheth and said, "Am I a dog's head of Judah? To this day I keep showing steadfast love to the house of Saul your father, to his brothers and to his friends, and have not given you into the hand of David. And yet you charge me today with a fault concerning a woman. God do so to Abner, and more also, if I do not accomplish for David what the Lord has sworn to him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul and set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah from Dan to Beersheba. And Ishbosheth could not answer Abner another word because he feared him. And Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf, saying, To whom does the land belong? Make your covenant with me, and behold, my hand shall be with you to bring over all Israel to you. And he said, Good, I will make a covenant with you. But one thing I require of you, that is, you shall not see my face unless you bring Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come to see my face. Then David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, Give me my wife, Michal, for whom I paid the bridal price of 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, Paltiel, the son of Laish. But her husband went with her, weeping after her all the way to Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, Go, return. And he returned. And Abner confirmed with the elders of Israel, saying, For some time past you have been seeking David as king over you. Now then bring it about, for the Lord promised David, saying, By the hand of my servant David I will save my people from Israel, or save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines, and the hand of all their enemies. Abner also spoke to Benjamin, and then Abner went to tell David at Hebron all that Israel and the whole house of Benjamin thought good to do. You know, when we take this moment to just look at this glimpse of what's taking place between the house of Saul and the house of David and the battle that's happening, still in the midst of it, we're reminded, especially as we just finished reading, reminding that no matter what's going on, no matter the chaos, no matter the turmoil, everything that's happening, is God is still bringing about, God is still working his plan. His plan to redeem his people. His plan to set up this throne that will never end. This throne that will be the one through that line, through this line of kings, that the King of kings and the Lord of lords will come. That God, even in the midst of when humanity says, no, we're going to do it this way, and no, this is going to happen, no, we're going to pursue this God, and we're going to pursue that God, the little g God. We're going to go after all them, and God is saying, listen, I need you to hear me. Remember we talked about yesterday, as God speaks, we need to hear. We need to listen. We need to recognize what he is doing. Is that ultimately God will do what God set out to do. And truly, ultimately, God has done what God set out to be done. That he accomplished his plan to redeem humanity through the Son. Your challenge today is to surrender to that. To trust in God's plan. And to know God's got this covered. If we will rely upon him, that if we will lean upon him, we will find hope. We will find a Redeemer, a Savior, a King. Can't wait to hear about how it goes for you. Y'all have a great day. God bless.